Hello and welcome to the Shine the Light On podcast. My name is Eli Brown, founder of Shine the Light On. Shine the Light On was created after I went through a personal struggle with mental health. After I came through the other side of my challenges, I wanted to create something that would be a platform for youth all around the world to share their story. Each week, we will have a new guest to discuss how mental health has touched their lives. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to the Shine the Light On podcast. I'm here with the one and only Shawn Hook, platinum recording artist. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on the podcast. Is this number 2 officially?
Podcast number 2.
All right, I'll be number
Episode
2.
2. Yeah, I got the nerves out on the first one.
Okay.
All the technical difficulties also on the first one. This one has been pretty easy so far. We all logged on and we all recorded well.
What were your nerves? I'm curious. What was just it being like your inaugural run?
Yeah, and also just like I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird. It's also weird doing this through a computer and not being, face to face with each other, which is like the traditional way of doing things.
Yeah.
And it's just something new.
No, for sure. I can relate. I've been doing these live streams from my house, I'm calling them living room live concerts every Thursday night. And the first one was definitely nerve-wracking and definitely weird because, in a performance situation, you play to a crowd, you finish a song, you expect some sort of
a little bit
reaction,
of
applause, booing, whatever, something. When you're playing to an Instagram feed, you see hearts, but there's no audio, and it automatically my mind goes to, wow, that must have sucked because nobody's clapping or cheering.
Yeah, you should have another computer or a phone going as well with friends on it, so at least after they could give you a little bit.
That's a good point, actually. Maybe I should like a live. That's a good idea.
Yeah, just put your mom or your dad on it too, just so you at least get something.
Just clapping on every song, just the automatic clap track. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I saw this funny interview with Tom Holland, a guy who plays Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He is living in London with his 4 roommates, and he was doing one of the talk shows, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, I forget which one it was. And he thought it was so weird without having an audience clapping. So he had his 4 buddies stand behind the computer screen. So whenever he talked, he had people cheering him on.
That's funny. Well, I can relate. It's weird, but I just did my 6th one yesterday, and they are starting to feel normal, which I'm a little scared of. I still get a little nervous before, but it does feel like I get the same feeling from doing the live shows now that I get when I used to do them live, like living room live shows compared to when I was actually doing a live show, which is good. It feels like I love performing. That to me, it's like my adrenaline rush, and it seems like my fans are really enjoying them as well, because that's what's important. Like, there's one thing to be in the room creating the sound, but like to go through all the technical, the aspects and go to an app and then people watching it on the other side. There's definitely some quality. Lacks the quality, but it seems to be going great and people are loving it, so I'm gonna keep doing them, and it seems like this is number 2, so you can only get better from here, right?
Exactly. And I've been watching the living room parties. They're very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just it is weird in a sense though that like that's our new concert. Yeah, I've been watching those living room parties, and it's crazy. I mean, I love them, but it's crazy to see that like that could be the next or the new concert for the next year. Yeah,
I mean, it's good. There's pros and cons, I guess. The pros are, we are all literally in this together, and it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. We're, people are confined to their homes, artists, just people, everyday people, and we want to consume. And my whole goal and philosophy behind this is like, I've been trained. I've been playing piano since I was 4. I've been singing for a long time. I've been writing. I have a big enough catalog that, this is something I could do, and I feel like I can maintain a certain level of quality. I'm not just doing it to pander, and hopefully people just like come watch me like comb my hair, pick my nose. Like, I feel like I'm offering something that is actually, something people will enjoy, and that's so far it's been that, and it's been the weekly viewers are going up. They've doubled since I started it, which is cool.
Amazing.
But it is also like I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed on Instagram, that there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of people doing the Instagram live. So I'm just hoping just just to, do what I do, and hopefully people will continue to gravitate towards it on a weekly basis. And honestly, I think if you've watched them, I've explained that it does help me mentally as well. Like my mental health, like it gives me something to look forward to every week. It's basically the goal. I'm looking to bring on different guests every week. So that's like today I'm already planning my next 2 Living Room Live shows and reaching out to people. And, it gives me something to do every single day and keeps me in shape as well. Like musically, my voice, playing, like I can't afford to not get unhealthy. And so it's been really good on that side of it too.
Yeah, and it's amazing having that thing to look forward to, because like during a time of isolation and not being able to do normal day-to-day things, like I found my mental health really slipping for the first couple of weeks, just with the craziness of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And it was introducing things into my life that I could look forward to and that I could work on every single day, rather than just sitting on the couch or laying in bed all day.
Yeah. I think it's important. Not everybody has to do a podcast, not everybody has to do a live show, but I think it's important, like maybe to set a weekly goal or something to look forward to, because when you have that, it kind of determines the rest of your week. And it's, you have to be really realistic as well. Like, and I've had days where I've been super, super anxious out of nowhere. And then I kind of think about, okay, why am I feeling super anxious today? And, I tend to worry a lot about my future and stuff I can't control.
Yeah.
And so when I can't control something, that brings on my anxiety, and then it kind of spirals. But when you have something you can control on a weekly basis, it's the opposite effect. And you can start looking forward. You can start being positive. And to me, it's like that you need that counterbalance. Otherwise, it can get dark pretty fast. And especially in this scenario that we're in.
Yeah. I mean, like the anxiety of not knowing what's next. So many things are out of our control. Like when we'll be able to go back out, when we'll be able to go to a concert, go to a restaurant. Like we can't control. I mean, we could do all of our parts to at least speed up the process, but we can't control when all that stuff's going. And it's easy for the mind to slip and go down that dark path.
Yeah. I think people are adjusting in good ways. Like I think there's a lot of positives going on. And like even like here in Vancouver, I have a favorite restaurant called Tavola, and it's an Italian restaurant, but they're doing a curbside service. So they haven't closed down completely. And I've been treating myself like twice a month. So I'll drive to the restaurant. We do the interaction online. They literally bring the food to my door, sanitizing gloves and bags or whatever. And then I drive to the parking lot by Stanley Park and I have a meal. And it's beautiful. Like it's my new dining out, and it's like a treat to myself. And I think we need to treat ourselves as much as we can, or at least again, like give yourself something to look forward to. It's like another mind trick. And people are adapting in good ways. And I'm sure you've noticed too, like people are coming together more online and in socially. And I think that's also helpful.
Yeah. And I think one of the many positive things that are going to come from this is that I think it creates a much more compassionate community, and a community in which that we support each other, because this is a major thing that's going on in everyone's lives. It impacts everybody, and now people are starting to get a sense of what others feel like in times of isolation, or just the need to help others out. And you going to that restaurant twice a month is part of the reason why they're able to keep their lights on, and why they're able to keep functioning, and how we're all intertwined, and how the decisions I make or the decisions you make really do have a large impact.
I totally agree. And they were even vocal about it, like, because I've been coming in like consistently, I guess, like week after week after week, and like they're asking me how I'm doing, and like beyond just like your typical go to a restaurant and eat, you can tell that they really appreciate their customers and their service, and they understand that, like you said, we are a community. There's an ebb and flow, and there's, we need each other more than ever in these moments.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the weird things that I've noticed is I've actually been able to connect to more people during this time than ever before.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and even just simple connections, like the neighbors around me. Like
Yeah.
before it was like, hey, how are you? How's your day going? Like
Hmm.
extremely superficial. And
Yeah.
now it's like actually getting to know everyone around me.
Yeah.
And then also reconnecting with friends that I haven't spoken to in a long time. Like I was always so busy with work and life and everything that's going on that
Yeah.
it could be 4 or 5 months since I connected with someone. And
Yeah.
now with this time, it's like reaching out to 1 or 2 people per day that, I kind of lost touch with. And
Yeah.
it's amazing at a time where we're told to isolate that I
Yeah.
feel more connected to people than I ever have before.
Yeah, that's a very good point as well, and I totally relate to that too. I think you start to see the true colors of people, and
Mhm.
for better, better and worse, but I think mostly for better. Um, like you said, it takes away the superficial qualities when someone actually might be going through something and really be affected by this. A lot of people have lost their jobs, not just the health aspect of it, but just the financial aspect of this as well. It's really tough times for people, and I feel like as a country, I feel like we're super caring. I think that's what makes Canadians Canadian is it seems like we care for each other more so than other parts of the world care for each other.
Yeah.
I thought I don't know if you saw the Stronger Together broadcast on
Yep.
Sunday, but I thought that was such a powerful show. I mean, I watched the whole thing, and it was just I felt really united, and I felt empowered and uplifted, and it definitely raised my spirits. And I think I feel Canadians have really really done well in this climate
Mhm.
that we're in. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I've been amazed by everything that's going on and how communities are coming together. And on Wednesday nights, there's something called the Great Kitchen Party,
okay.
where it's in support of local restaurants. So they're encouraging people all across the city and all across the country to go to your favorite restaurant and to support them. And
Yeah.
then there's a Facebook Live party where they bring on a couple different artists to play something.
Yeah.
I think their last one is coming up this Wednesday. But then I even saw that you were part of an amazing thing where you guys all sang, a bunch of Canadian artists sang the song "Lean on Me."
Yeah, yeah, that was really cool. I actually my last living room live, I had Tyler Shaw as a guest, and Tyler hit me up. So it was the day after Bill Withers passed away, and the day before, Tyler was going to do a tribute, and he was just going to post a cover video of "Lean on Me," just because it was a nice thing to do in respect to the late Bill Withers. But then he was thinking, that he's thinking about the lyrics and like such a powerful song, and he was thinking, well, what if we do like he hit me up saying like, hey, I had this idea. What if like we get a couple artists together and we do something for like the Canadian Red Cross or a charity, and maybe we can raise some funds for what's going on right now. And I said, you know what, I'm in. Let's figure out the logistics in terms of like, will our labels let us do this, and if not, let's just do it. And he's like, cool, yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens. I'm like, cool. So I'm getting your people talking to my people, and we'll figure it out. And then John Levine stepped on, which John Levine's a producer, and he produced the whole thing. And once I found out John was producing, I was like, wow, this is great, because he produced my first album on EMI back in 2012, and he's so talented. He used to be in the Philosopher Kings, the keyboard player and one of the main songwriters and singer as well. But one of the most talented producers now, but now he's getting a lot more recognition. He produced Fight Song by Rachel Platten.
Mm-hmm.
He's produced Alicia Cara's a bunch of her new records, and on and on and on and on. So when he came on board, I was like, this is great. And then I started texting him like, hey man, I'm stoked you're involved. He's like, yeah, I'm going to bring in Avril Lavigne. I was like, perfect. And then like, it just kind of grew from there. And then and then the next thing you know, like I get a version back, cause we shot a video to, once we determined what our lines were going to be in the song, and Michael Bublé starting it,
Yeah,
and then
Bieber
it goes to
in there
Sarah,
too.
Justin Bieber, and
Yeah.
then it goes to Sarah McLachlan, and then Brian. I'm like, who's singing the chorus? This guy's got a great voice. It's Bryan Adams. I'm like, okay. I was like, this is amazing. Company. Yeah, but again, and then when I saw it all come together that night on that telecast, I was like, it was emotional. Like, it was really, really cool. Like, people were able to, certain artists that are more successful than other artists. There was no ego. There was no barriers. It was just like, we are Canadians. We're coming together. We're we're doing something beautiful with the song, and it's all going towards the Red Cross, Canadian Red Cross. So it just, all these things kind of were just feel good moments, and I was just honestly just honored to be a part of it. And I just got to give Tyler credit, because it was his idea, him and his manager. And sometimes you have these ideas and they never make it past that. They just get, people are just like, that's never going to work. That's dumb. But he fought for it, and people just came on board. And I think it's going to be, it's already like a success. So it's not even, I think it's going to be, it was. And it was just a beautiful moment, a Canadian moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was so cool to see it come together, and then also how all these artists did come together. And I think the last time I saw something like that would have been the song Waving Flag.
Waving Flag, yeah.
And that's what it reminded me of. And it kind of brought back that beauty of like, okay, in a time of crisis, rather than everyone turtling and sheltering away from everyone's coming together and creating something so beautiful. And all these different people are just coming together. And I hope that sense of community and that sense of just working together does continue after this pandemic is over, because it truly is beautiful to see.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. And I hope so as well. And you know, to speak more on the connecting and coming together, it's funny as artists, like before this pandemic, I knew, like I've ran into Shawn Mendes, I ran into like Lisa Cara, I've ran into like Tyler Shaw, Brett Kissel, and you always run into people backstage, and Jan Arden, and I've even performed with her. But I've been like inviting these people on my Instagram chats and just talking to them like we're talking now, and I'm learning so much more about them. And it's just so, it's great, you know, it's forcing us to slow down in a way that's great. You know, we're so used to like just, you know, our routines, looking at our social media, looking at our cell phones, and just doing what we, you know, we're supposed to be doing. And sometimes we neglect that the human connection in people, and getting to know people. So yeah, I think I've been connecting more with people as well and getting to know people more. And this song was one of those experiences too that I think will set an example, I think, for the future, and just open up our eyes a little bit more once this is all over.
Yeah, and hopefully it continues on, because I mean it's been so amazing to see, and I hope people remember how great of a feeling it is to be connected to others, and that once this is all over, we don't just now put our heads back down onto our own cell phones and just kind of worry about our own bubble.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a learning moment for sure, and I think there's definitely going to be things that we carry forward into the future once, you know, the lockdown and the isolation is over, for good and for bad. Like I think it's going to take a minute until really there's like a vaccine out there. You know, we're going to need a boost of morale and some confidence, I guess, in especially in the group settings, like, you know, sporting events, live music events. You know, it's going to take some time, but I feel like I feel like we're going to be smart with it. I don't, you know, obviously there's stories of people who are protesting it, but I think at least in Canada, it's not as bad as it is like in America and other parts of the world.
But we've been pretty lucky to be up here. Canada's a good place to be. And I think the way that they're slowly starting to open things up, I think is great. And the limitations they're putting on things. I mean, I don't think, you know, next month that there's going to be a concert with 60,000 people there, but you know, soon. I think it's a couple months away.
We'll see. I hope so. I hope the concerts are back sooner. But the talk around, like talking with my agents, my manager, excuse me, that they basically rescheduled all their tours for 2021, the early 2021. So just, I think it's more of a precaution than anything else. But there might be, I think there could be one-off events. I think this is just me speaking in my philosophy and my theory. I think like soft seat venues would be easier to control, where you can limit the amount of people, the distance that they're sitting in to at least to get back. But I think it's a bit further down the road than other situations, but I think we're going to be very conscious of it.
yeah, definitely. And have you been creating a lot of music during this time? Like, have you been kind of writing and getting?
Yeah, I haven't been. I wouldn't say a lot, because like, Thursday is my weekly show, so I usually it's been my challenge has been to like not play the same songs every week, and so last night was week 6, and they're like an hour and a half concerts, so it's a lot of it is conversation. So I'm not just playing music for a whole hour and a half. So like I do have, I'm not having to play as much and worry about playing the same thing over and over again. So, but I have been like going way back in my catalog, songs that I've never released before that I've really loved. And like last night, I had this song I wrote for a friend of mine in Vancouver. When I first moved out here, I was going through a really tough time in my life, and I was in a relationship with a girl that oh wow, I can hear myself echoing now quite a bit.
Oh, good now.
You're good now, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, she was battling with some mental health issues as well, and I kind of got caught up in. It was kind of an emotional, abusive relationship towards me, and it really took a lot out of me. And I didn't really have a solid network of friends when I first moved out to Vancouver, but this particular friend was just always there to listen, like just I could vent, and he always like encouraged me, and just a good friend. And so I wrote this song called "Thank You" inspired by him, and I just remember playing it all the time. This is like 12 years ago, and I played it last night, and it felt so good to play something, and then to have my fans, my current fans were like, what was that song? That was beautiful. That you should release that, and so I'm like, maybe I should release that. So like I'm kind of going through, I'm revisiting a lot in this time as well, like because I'm always wanting to write more and do better than my previous work, but I have a lot of songs. And like as an artist that's been signed to a major label my whole career, pretty much from 2008 to now, there's a pressure. There's like, especially making pop music, there's like, there's certain pressures put on you by commercial success and commercial benchmarks, and sometimes it doesn't agree with art. And a song I might write might not be right for what my label wants to put out, or what the radio stations want to play. And a lot of that isn't even. They're not even. It's not to say that they're right about that or wrong about that. It's just something that I think it's just easy to tell an artist we want a up-tempo song that we can play on the radio, and that's what we need. We need the banger. But then all of a sudden Sam Smith comes out and puts like a ballad, or Louis Capaldi comes out and puts out a ballad, and it just crushes and stands out because guess what? People connect to songs that have emotional content.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example. Is like I'm a fan of your music, and I'm also a fan of hearing a story. Like, yes, the upbeat song is great, gets you up, gets you dancing. Your new single is unbelievable, by the way.
Thank you.
But sometimes it's purely based off of the connection of the lyrics that you're saying. And, sharing that story of going through emotional abuse and reaching out to someone, and that person being there to listen and to support you is something almost everyone can relate to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it kind of opened my eyes up a bit as a songwriter, because early on in my career, I wasn't trying to write songs for radio. I wasn't trying to write anything besides just express my emotions. And I still try not to write for radio or try to write a hit, so to speak. I still write emotion-based music, but I've definitely, with the experience, there's just certain things that I didn't do back then because I was just naive, and but sometimes that's what's beautiful about it, is like I can hear in those older songs my innocence and kind of just like the pure rawness and the emotions, which is very valuable in songwriting. So yeah, it's definitely an eye-opener, and I guess that's another silver lining in this lockdown for me, is just kind of revisiting those early songs.
Yeah, and I mean that the connection that you're talking about is so important, because sometimes, like when I was going through my struggle, I just felt alone. I thought that there was no one out there that could understand me. There was no one out there that could support me, because they just have no idea what I'm going through. Yeah, and it was through sharing my story that I heard other people's story, and I realized that I'm not alone at all. Yeah, that what I'm going through is tough, but it's something that 1 in 3 people are impacted by. And from hearing their stories or from hearing your song, it gives me the hope that's needed to push forwards and to continue to reach out for help.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of music. I mean it's universal and it's uniting, and it doesn't discriminate. You know, music doesn't care. It doesn't matter what you believe in, religion, or it doesn't matter about race. It doesn't matter your credence or sexual orientation. It unites us and brings us together. And there's, you know, for me, I think before I knew what depression was, my remedy was music. You know what I mean? Like when I was in high school as a kid, I remember there'd be times where I remember leaving parties and just like wanting to go home and cry. But I would like sit down at like my piano, which I've never had a piano more than like arm's reach away from me since I was like a kid. And it was like literally my remedy for my depression or for whatever emotion that I was feeling. And I think to your point, music just connects us, and it's something that can help us and realize that we're not the only ones that are going through this. And you know, my fans, I have incredible fans who have shared their stories with me about a song I wrote for them, and literally like tattooing my lyrics on their arms. And like that's a whole other level that I'm just like a whole other level of connection that makes you realize like what you were saying really makes an impact and can make a difference. So when I'm writing a song, it's like I really think about those people that are going through something tough, and that's the whole goal, is to relate. For me as an artist and as a songwriter, that's the whole goal. You want to relate to your fan base, and you want to be that voice. You want to say something that maybe your fans have wanted to say, or something that they can resonate with.
Yeah, because so much of music is an outlet for people, not only obviously for the artist of you getting to share your story, but it, you know, as a fan, it becomes an outlet for us to be able to just relate and share. And sometimes that hearing a song can be the motivation that people need to go out and reach out for help, which is just truly beautiful.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, I'm on your side.
Perfect. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to thank you so much. I mean, I'm a big fan of you, as I've said many, many times before, and you've always been so amazing to us in the Shine the Light On community. And yeah, I just want to thank you so much for doing this with us today. Really appreciate it. And we're going to make sure that the sign off of the song or the intro of the song is your new hit single.
Amazing. Well, Eli, thank you so much for having me on. I can't believe we actually just almost talked for half an hour. That was crazy. I talked like too much.
I looked down. I'm like, okay, almost half an hour.
That's amazing. Well, good on you for doing this. I'm stoked to be number 2. But maybe we'll do this again down the road. And I look forward to hearing. Is this a weekly podcast?
Yep. Yeah. So we're coming out with it every single week. I'm bringing on a new guest to kind of share their story and, you know, what they're going through, and trying just to build our community.
Amazing. Well, good for you. And thank you for involving me. And I'm a big supporter of Shine the Light On. And all the best. Thanks so much for having me.
Anytime. Thank you so much.